So now that we have this interpolation point in there, let's go ahead and set another one. So let's say I want my camera to start out right here, and I want my camera to go all the way down here, and maybe kind of up here, and maybe even over a little bit, make it a little bit interesting like such. So maybe something like that. So I'm going to go ahead and add an interpolation point right there as well. Now I've got two interpolation points in, the one right there and the other one way back down over there. As a matter of fact, if I go ahead and come up here, hit W to turn off my static meshes, this will make it a little bit easier to see. So we've got one camera down there and one camera back up there, but there's no relationship between the two.
They're not connected.
There's nothing saying that we're going to start here and go to here, so there's no path for a camera to travel along. Well, this is where we have to come back over to Actions and make sure we link these guys up. So what I want to do is we've already got this camera currently selected. So let's go ahead and kind of back away. There it is. It's selected. You can see it's green. And this is where we want to be by the end of this segment. Okay, so in other words, as soon as we get to this action right here. So let's go ahead and click on this action. With this camera selected, or this interpolation point, I'll simply come down here to Int Point, click, and then come over here and hit the Use button, and look at that. It's going to put that interpolation point information into this property right there. All right, so that's good. Now what I need to do is just come back over here and find the other one, which is over here by the water, right there. Go ahead and select it, like such. Come back up here to the first action, come down to Endpoint, and select Use there. Aha, look what just happened. We have a path that is now going from the first interpolation point all the way up and down, back over there to the second interpolation point. So now we have a path for a camera to follow. But we've got a bit of a problem right now. If we were actually to preview this or go into the game and trigger it all off, we could see some, well, let's just say some very negative things occur. Because right now, look how long we're telling it to get from point A to point B. Instantly, 0 seconds. I need to come down here and give some sort of duration other than 0 to this second action. And I can do this by simply selecting the action and then coming down here to its properties, expanding the time section, come down to duration. This duration is in seconds. You're going to find that everything that we're going to be dealing with inside of Matinee is in seconds. And let's say it takes about 8 seconds to get from this point here to this point over here. You'll also notice that the color of our path just changed from purple to yellow, indicating that there's some sort of time involved, where purple is going to be like a cut, instantly going from here to here.
Right.
Okay? So now that we've got this, you'll notice that this 8 has not updated up here graphically. All I need to do is simply bump my slider over here, my scroll bar, and you'll notice that I now have 8 seconds showing on the second action. And the way that you can read this is simply saying that the camera is going to start out the interpolation point at this action here, and it will take 8 seconds for it to get all the way over to the interpolation point over here. Okay?
Okay.
As simple as that. And with that, we can test this out without going into the game by coming over here to the preview window. So I'll go ahead and click Open a Preview Window right there. And all I need to do is simply hit play, and look at that.
Ooh.
And we've got exactly what we're expecting to see. The camera is moving along the path going from the first interpolation point to the second interpolation point. And if I wanted to, I can come down here and I can scrub the timeline as well so that I can, go forward and backwards and just kind of eyeball what all's taken place. So very important things to note, obviously. Some other things that we could talk about real quickly before we get out of just the setting up of a basic scene. Let's go ahead and close this out. And that is, let's say perhaps, let me think. What if we wanted to go ahead and change the path itself? So in other words, as opposed to having a linear path, maybe I'd like to have a Bezier type path, a path that I can put some curvature to. So I can come down here with the second action selected. I can come over here to Path, and then I can come down here to my path style. And path style has two different types that you can choose from, rather linear or Bezier. By selecting Bezier, do not panic when, boop, suddenly this thing goes crazy. Now, for us, it happened to go crazy in this particular view right here. You always get an S, okay? And you'll notice we have an S right there. And up here, we can't really see it. But all I need to do is simply right-click on the Bezier path, or the path itself, and from the context menu, come down to Straighten Bezier Curves, bink, and now look at this. Nice and straight. Now I have Bezier handles that I can grab, hold Control down, and then with the left mouse button, I can control how these guys are going to look.
Very nice.
Okay, and I can also, let's not forget, right-click, straighten, grab this guy right here, and then come over here and perhaps hold Control in both the left and right mouse button and pull this down. So now that I'm going to start out by kind of, let's pull it down a little bit further, sweeping along the bottom and then start lifting up. And then perhaps grab this bezier handle over here, hold Control, maybe move it up.
So kind of a smooth out, smooth in.
And even weight it as well. Just kind of pull it out a little bit. So yeah, it's exactly what we've got. Just an ease out and an ease in. Okay? So let's go ahead and take a look at what that appears to look like. So we'll hit play. So look at that. So now we sweep along the bottom, and then we pan upwards, traveling up. Now watch this. We're going to ease into the top point, and boom, there we go.
Very nice.
Okay, so with this, let's go ahead and do a couple of things. First of all, we'll close this out. We'll go ahead and save what we've got and do a quick test just to make sure that when the player hits over here, see what is going to happen with Matinee, with our scene manager. So go ahead and tell it to play the map, and we'll just minimize that guy out of the way. And here we come, a bunch of stuff, getting ready for the game. You having a good time over here?
Oh, yeah.
Matinee
is cool.
Matinee is.
And it's very easy, too.
So now we're inside. Of course, right now, you know, what do we have going on? Well, it's a regular game, because right now, the only way the scene manager is going to do anything is if we hit that trigger right there. So regular game, I can fire. Of course, we don't have it set up for any bots to be in the level right now, so you're not going to see any action. But if I come over here and hit this trigger, watch what happens. Trigger, boom, control's been passed over to the scene manager, which now grabs and controls the viewport camera, and we do our little thing there. And once we're done, once we hit the last action, then control is given back to us, the player, where we can then freely move around, continue doing our own thing, or even trigger it again, and the whole sequence will repeat.
Very nice.
So very, very simple stuff. Now, that's really it for the basics of a very simple Matinee scene. Now, I mean, I know we've not done anything incredibly exciting. I understand. And we're going to be getting to that, obviously. So the idea of this was just to set up a very basic Matinee scene. So that's going to wrap up this lesson. Thanks.